This afternoon, residents of the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi, turned their anger on the police as they joined the families of the 4 murdered girls to reject results of the DNA conducted by the police. Yesterday, the acting IGP, James Bueno, broke the news that many of us had dreaded: confirmation that the girls or the human remains found in a septic tank are indeed dead. Maxwell Agbagba was there at the press conference for us.
Many hours of waiting here culminated in a sad announcement by the Acting Inspector General of Police, James Bueno. Well, he is still here, his vehicle still parked here. We also have the Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department in this vehicle, heading home now after the announcement. She's declined any comments, but in there we had members of the Police Management Board. The Acting Inspector General of Police, James Bueno, stated the prime suspect, Samuel Udotek Wills, upon interrogation, confessed at the CID headquarters that, together with 2 others, John Oji and John Chika, they kidnapped the girls and sent them by road to Nigeria.
He admitted that he, together with suspects John Oji and John Chika, kidnapped the young girls and sent them by road to a location in Nigeria known as Baby Factory in Anambra State. He, however, denied knowledge of the whereabouts of Ruth Abeka. Between April and July 2019, several surveillance operations were mounted in Onitsha, Awka, Port Harcourt, and Calabar in Nigeria. These were locations where suspect Samuel Udotek Wills emphatically mentioned at different times as places where the girls were sent, and directed investigation teams too, with the hope of tracing and rescuing the girls.
According to the acting IGP, the prime suspect, Samuel Udotek Wills, insisted that it was one of his accomplices, John Chika, and a certain Mama Sugoma, who took the girls to Nigeria. We are told that John Chika knew the location of the girls, an allegation he has denied.
2 officials from the Nigerian National Agency for the Protection of Trafficked Persons came to Ghana on 17 June 2019 to assist the police with investigations. They interrogated both Samuel and Oji at the CID headquarters. These further interrogations did not yield any new actionable information. Effort to locate the girls in Nigeria also yielded no results by July 31st, 2019. The Nigerian leads, ladies and gentlemen, were assessed to have grown cold and unreliable as at that date.
The acting IGP says a search of a septic tank at the home of the prime suspect revealed human remains.
A detailed search of all previously unexamined areas, including a septic tank, resulted in the discovery of material suspected to be human hair. A subsequent draining of fluids from the tank revealed 3 human hairs at the bottom of the tank. In addition, bones suspected to be human remains were retrieved from the septic tank, together with 2 sets of earrings and fingernails with artificial teeth. Samuel Udotek was questioned about the discoveries, but he provided no coherent responses. On 5th August 2019, a joint team of crime scene investigators and forensic lab experts from the police headquarters, led by the Western Regional Commander, together with Samuel Udotek, visited the vicinity of the uncompleted residence where he had been rearrested. A water well was discovered around 7 p.m. With the benefit of lessons from the 2nd August discoveries, the Ghana National Fire Service was engaged to empty the well. This led to the discovery of a human skull, which was fresher than the 3 found in the septic tanks. Additionally, parts of a dress found earlier in the other house on 2nd August 2019 was also uncovered at this location. Again, Samuel Udotek provided no coherent answers to questioning at the scene. However, the dress found was identified by Mantibia's father as belonging to his 15-year-old daughter. The remains discovered were subjected to DNA tests, the results of which have now been communicated to the families.
There was controversy after the Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, Mamitiwa Adodankwa, stated they knew the location of the girls. The acting IGP says confessions from the suspects and intelligence from Nigeria made investigators believe they knew the location of the girls.
The evaluation of this confession and other intelligence reports from Nigeria on the location and modus operandi of this baby factory culminated in an assessment by the investigation team at this stage that they had a fair idea of the location of the girls and that it would be possible to bring them home.
The acting IGP, on behalf of the Ghana Police Service, expressed condolences to the family.
A few minutes ago, officers of the Ghana Police Service informed 4 families in Takoradi in the western region of Ghana that DNA tests conducted on some human remains discovered in the course of police investigations into the disappearance of 4 missing girls had turned positive as the remains of the girls. The Ghana Police Service has, with regret, therefore informed the families that the remains are those of Ruth Abeka, Priscilla Blessing Bintum, Ruth Love Kwezin, and Priscilla Kranche. The Ghana Police Service expresses its condolences to their families.
And that will start a whole state of mourning yesterday, and that state a lot of people are still in. But what do the families say? They say they do not believe the police's account and will not accept the outcome. They're actually demanding an independent test. They've been addressing a news conference in Diabene, the suburb of Takoradi, earlier today.
I'm going to the police to assist me. Suppose they did what I reported to them, this 3 triggers will have not happened. Yes. Will never. Ruth Abeka, she was kidnapped 29th July 2018. On the following day that I reported the case to police, nothing was done until the boys were at school before they called us to deal with these very cases. Let's take, for instance, media. When you go to laboratory and they examine you, they give you a sheet, the analysis that they have done, they give it to you. And that very sheet will be presented to your doctor to explain. So you want the sheet. You want the sheet of the analysis.
Yes, the certified
sheet of the analysis.
Of the forensic.
You question them that very day when they are come to take the DNA. That when are they going to complete this very process? They told us they don't know. It will take a time. And you question them. How do they know? Because the bones, how long has they kept the bone? Whether 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years? Because you cannot take a bone that you don't know the period that you have been buried, and you assume it to come and tell us that, sitting at that vessel, telling us that it's our daughters. How? In the culture of Ghanaians, the norms and values of the Ghanaians, when somebody dies, it is the Abusuapei, they come to him and disclose the whole thing to him in the daytime, not nighttime. Because of this, my wife is still now collapsed. My wife is.
One of the parents of the 4 girls speaking there at the press conference earlier. Well, just in case you lost track of how this all ended this way, here's some background for you. We'll bring you a report, but take a look at these. Well, this all started in 2018. We're talking July 29, as the man indicated. The first girl, Ruth Abeka, was kidnapped. He says that matter was reported to the police about 2 days, and he says nothing was done. August 17, fast forward to that, the second girl, who is 21-year-old Priscilla Blessing Bintum, went missing. Priscilla is the third, if you're counting from the left, is the third girl who went missing in August 17. And then in December, the 2 other girls went missing. In December 22, the main suspect, 28-year-old Nigerian Samuel Wills Odetek, was first arrested a day after kidnapping of the 4th and last girl, which is Priscilla Kwanche. Now, a lot of things happened subsequently. In the same month, Odetek Wills managed to escape from the Takoradi Central Police cell, and this happened 8 days later, and it happened at about 4:30 p.m. Now, the residents, the families went on demonstration. They were not very excited. Now, 7 police officers on duty during that escape were directed to reproduced the suspect within 10 days after the residents accused them of complicity. Now, this happened when they went on that demonstration there, and in less than 10 days, Samuel Udutek Wells was recaptured. He was recaptured at Nkrofo near Takoradi, and that is 5 days less than the 10-day ultimatum given to those police officers. Now, those police officers on duty then were interdicted. Nothing has been heard of them after the matter, by the way, and those are some of the questions left to be answered. Fast forward to April 29, the main suspect was sentenced to 18 months in prison by a Takoradi magistrate court in the Western region. Now, that sentence was not in relation to the kidnapping. It was in relation to the fact that he tried to jump jail, or he broke jail. That was why he was sentenced 18 months to prison. We go back to June 4, where June 4, 2019, the second suspect, the 29-year-old John Orji, who was arrested in Togo, the Togo section of the Aflao border. He was arrested and brought in as an accomplice of this crime. On June 12, he was arraigned at the Sekende Takoradi High Court on the charges of conspiracy to kidnap and kidnapping. Fast forward from June to August 2, police in Ghana were informed by Nigerian authorities that a third suspect, Chika, had also been arrested in Abuja. And as you heard, the IGP, there was surveillance in some states in Nigeria trying to follow where these girls may have been taken to. We come to September 16, which is yesterday. The acting IGP comes out with that information, call it a bombshell, on events leading to the final conclusion with a DNA test. But before that, you know that they found the septic tank close to the home of Samuel Udutek Wells. In that septic tank, they said that they found the bodies, or the human remains of 3 of these girls, after which another well was found in which the 4th girl was in. So this is the story so far. And subsequently, there was the talk about the DNA. That DNA was being anticipated. Now it's here. But the results prove that, according to the police, that these 4 girls have indeed been killed, and that their remains are those found in the well and in the septic tank. The family members say they do not accept it. Well, some people are actually saying, advising the families to demand an independent test. Well, the IGP said that all the Nigerian leads given by the suspect grew, in his words, cold, which means they were no longer actionable, they were no longer believable. He also says they were incoherent. But the police, after examining the information so far, began a search on a property where the main suspect lived, which took us to that septic tank.
First ever demonstration by families and friends of the missing girls in Takoradi.
We want the kidnapper. We want our sister back. That's all. Because they can't tell us that the kidnapper was jailed in police custody and he was able to escape. Why? Why? So we want answers. They have to explain to us why the kidnapper was able to escape from that cell.
But we are told he has been arrested.
That one we don't know.
So where are our girls? He has been arrested. Where are our girls? We can't find them. We want our girls. That's why we are. Whether he has been arrested or whatever. When they arrested him first, he confirmed that. So why is it that they didn't force him to go and bring the girls? They didn't do anything. He escaped and they've arrested him. What give us the assurance that we will get our girls? That is what we want. Only our girls.
The demands for speedy investigations soared. Social media was awash with hashtags, all making calls to action to find and rescue the girls.
In the meantime, we're still looking for the girls. See something, say something.
Bring back our tardy girls.
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 It had been weeks of trauma for the families, and on the 17th of January, they gave the police a week to find the girls or face another protest.
Now we feel the police needs to be pressured in order for them to act swiftly. They are working. We know they are working. They are doing what they can. But I think there is more effort. There is more to be done. So if the past presidents and civil society organizations put themselves in the matter, I think it would ginger the police to speed up their work.
But soon, a kidnapping scare hit Takoradi Takoradi with numerous alleged cases. On the 22nd of January, the Western Regional Police Command, through its public relations officer, gave another reason for optimism.
We are just assuring the family that we are not leaving any stone unturned. We need the necessary information. Any credible information is needed for us to make progress.
The police CID boss and the gender minister visited the families on the 26th of January 2019 to reassure them of intensified efforts by the police to rescue the girls.
I asked if the girls are alive. I am told they are. So we will continue to pray that God will touch the hearts of the people keeping them so they won't harm them. Shouldn't think we are not doing anything about it.
All this while, one suspect, Samuel Idotek Wells, was in the custody of the police. On the 11th of February, he revealed during his cell break trial that a CID officer aided his escape. The acting Western Regional Police crime officer set up investigations into the escape of the suspect, but was tight-lipped on the result of the investigation. Soon, the family held another press conference on the 14th of February to demand a presidential intervention.
It's almost about 6 or 8 months now. We don't know whether our girls, they are alive or they are not alive. We have invited Regional Police Commander to our end. We have invited Minister for Gender, the Deputy Minister, all that they are telling us that we should have exercise patience because the girls are there. If the girls are there, we want to see them. We really want to see them.
Yes. Yes.
We are 100% convinced that if this incident happened to one of the ministers or happened to any dignitary in our country by now, I am convinced that we will see them or we will find the minister's daughters and the minister's children alive. So we, the citizens, we are also saying that the dignitary is supposed to serve us because we elected them to that level. Yes. We are dedicating this press conference to the president of Ghana, which is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Here is the very particular place, Diabene, that he used this platform to have his last campaign.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So therefore, we are calling Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to come to our aid, to help us. If not, 22nd of this month, we are going to have massive demonstration.
But on the 2nd of April, the CID boss once again gave the families hope, reassuring them of the safety of the girls.
Together with the BNI, we've worked very well, and currently we know where the girls are. I am unable to give the details because we don't want to compromise their safety. We are working hard together with other stakeholders so that these girls are brought back home safely. The assurance to the family is that they should keep on keeping on.
The families began mounting pressure on the police, threatening to storm the CID headquarters because, according to them, they had been kept in the dark about investigations. But months after, the families only hang on hope. The hope that their girls would be rescued. But that hope began dwindling when the police retrieved human remains from a septic tank behind the house of suspect Samuel Idotek Wells.
It is never going to be our girls. Our girls are alive. They know that the girls are there, so they should go and bring them.
The families then had submitted themselves for a DNA test, the result of which has presented the entire nation with even more questions.
More questions, few answers. Well, this morning, police officers detailed to police the community were booed by the residents in an apparent disapproval of their handling of the matter.
The police have arrived. And as you can see, members of the community are hooting at the police who are driving past in a white pickup. The police simply driving through the community, and you can see that members of the community are hooting at them, screaming, shouting, jeering as the police pickup makes its way across the town. Now the police officers have come out of the pickup. Let's see if we can quickly get some information from them. Let's see if they will speak to us. We have Officer Ifa. Let's see if he will speak to us. Mr. Ifa, good morning. What brings you here this morning?
Good morning. We are on general patrol.
So why, can you tell us why you have stopped here?
No, wait. Let them go.
Okay, we are listening to you.
Yes. For now, I don't want to comment. We are here.
Well, the deaths were communicated to the families last night in what Sister of Fruitlove Kwesen says lacked professionalism. We'll bring you that, but let's get on the phone line now. Kojo Yankson is our man on the ground. Hello, Kojo.
Hello.
Kojo, what is the latest?
Well, following the press conference, the families have resolved that they expect the remains to be handed back to them so that they can conduct their own independent DNA testing. This is all except for one family, the family of Priscilla Mantibia Crunchy, the last of the 4 girls to be taken. Her family have accepted the results of the police DNA test. And even though they say it is painful to acknowledge that their daughter is dead, they say they accept the results and are going to proceed accordingly. This leaves 3 families who continue to fight for what they perceive to be.
So let's try and get into the minds of the family that has accepted this. Perhaps they are looking for closure. They think they found it. Are they asking for the body or the remains so that they can give it a dignified burial?
Yes, and in fact, I spoke to the brother of Priscilla Crunchy, Michael Labi Crunchy, who told me that if they could afford to do their own private DNA testing, they would do so. But they can't, so they don't see it as an option. Yesterday at about 4 p.m., according to Michael Crunchy, the CID boss called his father, who happens to be in Accra at the time. He's currently not in Takoradi, he's still in Accra. Called him and gave him the news of the DNA test results. It was followed by a phone call from the president expressing his condolences. And following that, Mr. Alexander Crunchy, the father of Priscilla Crunchy, says that he has accepted the results of the DNA testing.
So for them, it's more of an issue. The issue is more of affordability, really.
That is what Michael Crunchy tells me.
Let's go to those who do not accept the outcome. They say they also want to conduct their own DNA tests. Do they talk about affordability?
They say that they will raise the money however they must in order to do this, because to them, this matter has not been laid to rest. They point to what they see as discrepancy in the narrative of the police. It just does not add up for them that these remains could so neatly fit the 4 missing girls that we have been, wishing for their return all this time. They feel that it simply does not compute that the person in the custody of the police insists that those bodies are not the girls, yet the police are proceeding with the theory that they are. They feel it's a theory. They don't count these DNA results as being anything valid because they think the police are seeking to sell them a bill of goods. The police are seeking to close the case without concluding it. That is their view, and they stand by it.
Well, let's talk about the aftermath of all of this. We just seen in that video that you sent, Kojo, where residents were booing the police there. You tried to talk to the police. What did that how did that conversation really end? We kind of lost in on it.
Well, we've actually spent the last hour and a half at the regional police command. This follows the jeering and booing with which the community met a police patrol that happened to stop there some minutes after the end of the press conference. Now, here at Police Command, the regional police authorities are refusing to speak on record to the media. They say that this investigation has been handled by the National CID and the National Police Command, and so they do not seek to add their voices to those that are communicating with the public. They feel that the IGP's press conference should be sufficient. We pointed to some of the questions that the family members are asking, but the regional police are steadfast that they will not be drawn into the conversations. All they have said is that they also, as police officers, are human beings. They have family members, they have loved ones, they have children, and some of them say that they shed tears when the news came that the DNA results, unfortunately, had been positive and that these 4 bodies belonged to the 4 missing girls. They said that they were affected on a personal level by it. However, they must remain professional at all times.
Well, regarding the booing of police officers there here in Accra and on social media, and I'm sure you're aware of it, Kojo, the hashtag that's trending is Tiwa must go. Do the residents of Takoradi feel the same way?
They do to a large extent. At least those who attended the press conference certainly feel that way. They feel that this investigation was bungled from the beginning, and they point to several things to support their case. They talk about the fact that the suspect escaped. And in fact, we are learning today that after the suspect escaped, it was through the efforts of the Crunchy family that the suspect was relocated. They found the suspect after tracking him down, and then they brought in the police to help them arrest him. This is the narration that we are given by the Crunchy family. Bear in mind, the Crunchy family is a family that has accepted the DNA results. Right. They tell us today that they're the ones who actually found Samuel Wills after he escaped, 5 days after he escaped, on the 4th of January 2019. They found him in an uncompleted building.
But quick one, Kojo, we're told that some of the Nigerians who live in this area are not very comfortable because of threats by some of the residents there.
Well, the threats are quite overt, Gifty. They are not hiding their displeasure with the Nigerian community here in Takoradi. It appears that they have a lot of aggression and anger, and they need to fuel it or direct it somewhere. Unfortunately, their chosen targets are the Nigerians. And I'll tell you that there are respected, educated members of this community who spoke to me and talked openly about how Nigerians should move out of Takoradi, lest reprisal attacks are directed at them. The father of Priscilla Bentum, the second girl to disappear, Mr. Francis Bentum, told me on record that he is completely capable of attacking Nigerians in revenge for what has happened to his daughter, if indeed his daughter has been killed.
Well, hopefully
he said this to me. So there is a lot of sentiment of violence.
Well, hopefully he gets a change of mind, knowing very well that will be taking the law into his own hands, which he cannot do because it is wrong. But certainly, our condolences to them. Finally, before you go, Kojo, we're told that you spoke about the phone calls coming from the presidency and to the families. We know, we've heard that apart from the family that accepted the phone call, there are also other families that rejected the phone calls. What do you report on that?
Well, the family of Ruth Lapquison, they say that they received a contingent of armed police in their home at about 7:30 yesterday, while the press conference was going on. The IGP's press conference was going on. This contingent arrived at their home to announce to them that the DNA results were positive. They obviously were distraught, but they had questions. They asked this contingent lots of questions, and the contingent, according to them, said that all questions should be directed at the president, who will be ringing them shortly. Now, at this point, they felt slighted and disrespected, and so when the president called, they refused to speak to him.
Kojo, thank you very much for that update. Kojo Yangsin there, he's a man on the ground with that update there. Well, let's get on social media and find out what the hashtag is producing. The hashtag has been that Tiwa must go. But here are some responses from people. Obako Amponsa from Ponce says, her exit will not change anything. We must pray and soak our children in the precious blood of Jesus, so none of this happen again. May their souls rest in peace. Kwabena Abrakwa says, Tiwa is not going anywhere. It is your responsibility to take care of your own children. Your children are dead. My condolences. Tiwa's going or coming will not bring back your children. Joe Quay. And if you look at that particular response from Kwame Abrokwa, it receives 63 replies. Certainly, we can't go into all of that right now. But let's move on to Joe Quay, who says, ever since she was appointed, and she refers to Tiwa Adodankwa, says, ever since she was appointed to this particular office, every major assignment she has handled has been accompanied with controversy. She has really brought the image of the CID so low that it will take years to rebuild it. She is surviving in this office only because of her loyalty to the appointing authority and not competence or achievement. She must do the honorable thing by resigning as soon as possible. While as Jay said, as much as I agree that the CID boss and others must resign, this call should have been intensified long before this time. As the boss said, the girls were found and are safe, only for her to say she was given hope. The disease of taking everything lightly must stop. When we cry for something, let's cry our hearts out loudly. The call for her removal before this was too lenient, and I think it would have solved this problem. RIPT girls, that's RIP Tardy girls. And the hashtag that's going around on social media is Tiwa must go.